Reds and the Brewers are now in a deadlock at first place. The Cardinals 3 out, the Pirates 5 out, the Reds 5.5 out. Look for the Reds to move into fourth soon. Soon. Look for the Reds to possibly move into third. No joke. Last night the Reds beat the Cardinals 4-1. Pittsburgh got bombed by the Braves 12-5. They play again today, the Cardinals and Reds, and the Braves and the Pirates. St. Louis is home against the Reds. Milwaukee again entertains Miami, and the Cubs are entertaining the Colorado Rockies, who they beat yesterday 6-3. In the West, as I yawned a few minutes ago about the Astros, I could do a double yawn for the Dodgers. Winners of 7 in a row. They beat Arizona 9-0. I'm telling you, not good look for the Arizona Diamondbacks, right? 9-0. They're at Arizona again today. Ryu, a pitching machine when he's healthy, and he was a pitching machine last night for LA. They're 10.5 games up on the Rockies, 11.5 games up on the Padres. Both Padres and Rockies have winning records. Okay, so they're wild card players. The Rockies have won 8 of 10. Padres are getting Tatis Jr. back. Did you see what he did last night? After going 1 for 3 with a stolen base on Monday, he went 1 for 2 with a stolen base last night. If he got called back up today, it would not surprise me at all. He's going to be back this week. Okay, he's stealing bases. He's running with no problem. The Padres have winning record with him. They've had a losing record without him. He is coming back, and he is a force. And so look for the Padres. And I think they're a year away, but I think they are a wild card player. If they're a pretender, they're at least going to have a role in who makes it, being that they're playing the Rockies a lot towards the end of the year, okay? So keep your eye on that. That's a look at the divisions as we are now at my 30-minute mark. Boy, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? I want to take a few minutes and look at some rookies. And I've got this love fest for Yordan Alvarez. I was looking at some games from last night in AAA, and a pitcher that is of interest to me is Zach Gallen. And I'm just talking about the Marlins. Zach Gallen pitched for the New Orleans Baby Cakes last night. Don't you love that? The New Orleans Baby Cakes. They're the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. And Gallen, well, he went pretty good last night. He improved his record to 8-1. He's got an ERA this year at AAA at 1.67. Now, why is that significant? Because it's AAA and everybody's killing the ball at AAA. But Gallen has a 1.67 ERA. And if you don't believe it, I'll give you a score. We'll talk about the game in a minute. Las Vegas last night played Round Rock and won 19-9. Okay? Teams are scoring runs, but not against Zach Gallen. He pitched 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 11 strikeouts last night for the Baby Cakes. He's 8-1, and it's just a matter of, I think it's going to take probably an injury or a trade. And there's talk about the Marlins maybe trading Alcantara. And if Alcantara gets traded, look for Gallen to get called up. And if Gallen gets called up, I think he's a guy to have if you're in need of pitching in any of your leagues. So I'm just throwing that information at you. Zach Gallen now 8-1, 7 innings, 11 strikeouts, and a 1.67 ERA. So now let's talk about my man, Yordan Alvarez. How about that? So Round Rock's playing Las Vegas last night. Alvarez is playing left field. Another player, Kyle Tucker, playing right field. What did they do last night? Any interest? Well, Kyle Tucker, first of all, hit his 18th and his 19th home runs, driving in 3. He's raised his average now up to 259. He's hitting almost 375 over the last month. Alvarez batted cleanup, played left field. Oh, well, guess what? Alvarez hit his 22nd home run last night in the first inning. game-winning RBI had they won. They didn't win. But he hit his home run in the first inning. 3 RBIs last night. His 22nd home run. If there are 2 kids ready to be called up, it's Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez. And I'm kind of surprised neither one. Unholy Toledo, thank you. He says Tucker comes up before Alvarez. I think you're probably right. I think they could both come up this weekend, and I'll tell you why. Tucker is on the 40-man, okay? Tyler White has hit nothing. So I could see the Astros cutting ties with Tyler White, putting Alvarez there, calling Tucker up, Tucker playing outfield, Alvarez playing first base, or rotating amongst the DH spots. And I can see that happening this weekend, Unholy, in that they're playing the Orioles, 3 pitchers who are less than par, at home. So I really got my eye on that coming up this weekend. Tucker to play outfield, Alvarez to play first base or DH, and let's see if I'm right. Now, if not both, maybe one, sure. And I say it because I talked about earlier, Mayfield's hitting 0.45. That's not working. White's hitting, about 215. That's not working. Tucker and Alvarez can both stroke it. That bat can hit, guys, I'm telling you. So look for it. Look for it this weekend. All right, let's talk about some games today. It's a full schedule. All 30 teams are playing. And I want to go through some statistics on batter versus pitcher and take this for what it's worth, right? I mean, the other night, Xander Bogaerts, Sunday night, for example, had a career batting average against CC Sabathia of 147, and he hit a home run, and he hit a double. So throw out the stats sometimes. I use these stats as an indicator or a forecast of what is more than likely to happen. Doesn't mean it will. Doesn't mean it will. I can give you stats all day, and then these guys that don't hit could hit, and the guys that hit could go 0 for 4. But I do think some of these statistics are significant. And I'm looking at bats of 10 or more. If you don't have 10 at bats, I don't think it's an even decent sample size. Okay? So today at 105, the White Sox, Dylan Covey, 1-4, 4.73 ERA, playing in Washington against the Nationals, Anibal Sanchez, 1-6 with a 4.47 ERA. Okay. I don't really have a good sample size of Washington Nationals against Dylan Covey. But I do have some sample size of one player, maybe 2, against Anibal Sanchez. Okay, let's take a look at Tim Anderson first. Anderson, career-wise, is 4 for 14 with 4 strikeouts. That's a 286 average against Sanchez and no extra base hits. Okay. Luis Garcia, again, not a good sample size, is 3 for 6 against him with no extra base hits. But here's the one I want you to write down. If you're playing daily fantasy, Jose, can you see Abreu? Career-wise, 24 official plate appearances against Anibal Sanchez, 13 hits, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 6 runs scored, 9 RBIs, 2 walks, and only 1 strikeout. Not only does he see the ball off Anibal Sanchez really well, he knocks the cover off of it when he sees it. Okay? And I agree. Batter versus pitcher isn't as reliable as one may think. I've already said that. I agree, Unholy. But I think in some of these situations, it can be indicative. And I think Abreu against Sanchez can well be indicative. He's hitting .542 with an OPS of 1.472. Not saying you should add him. I'm just saying it's interesting if nothing else, right? All right, let's move along. The Dodgers today at 3:40, they play in Arizona, Kenta Maeda against rookie Duplantier. I have no stats on Duplantier. He's brand new, so I can't tell you about any Dodgers against him. I can tell you about one Diamondback. Okay? And I'm not going to go through all these because, again, I agree with Unholy Toledo. I'm not saying this is the best indicator. I'm saying it is one indicator. Here you go. Ketel Marte. Number one, he's been hot of late. Okay. But number two, he's had 12 career at-bats against Kenta Maeda, and he's gotten 7 hits. That's a .583 average. Ketel Marte, a second player to look at today as you look at making daily lineups. So I'm going to keep up with this. I've got Jose Abreu as a first baseman, and now I've got Marte who can play about anywhere, right? Let's move on. At 3:40 today in San Diego, the Phillies, Jake Arrieta, 5-5 with a 3.96 ERA, against Paul Quantrill, 1-2 with a 5.14 ERA. All right. I have no stats on Quantrill because he's a rookie. But I do have stats on San Diego bats against Arrieta. And I can tell you, none of the 10 or more bats are good. So it may be a good day to throw Arrieta in Pitchers Park, San Diego. Here's what I got. I got Ian Kinsler, 4 for 15 with 3 strikeouts. I got Eric Hosmer at 3 for 11. That's a .273 average. Okay? Kinsler does have a home run off of Arrieta, but Kinsler has been garbage this year. So make of that what you want. I don't endorse either of those. I'm just saying those are the two with 10 or more at-bats. Atlanta at 7:05 tonight. Gausman, who I said earlier, I'm not a big fan of, against Pittsburgh, and Joe Musgrove. Gausman's 2-4 with a 5.56 ERA. Ugh. That tastes bad, doesn't it? And Musgrove, not much better, 3-6 with a 4.57 ERA. Look for some runs to be scored tonight in Pittsburgh, okay? So against Kevin Gausman, again, not big sample sizes, but not really impressive. The Pirates' active players against Gausman are 12 for 59 that's a .203 average. So as much as I'm not a big Kevin Gausman fan, he's fared pretty well against Pirate batters. The only one with more than 10 at-bats with a positive average is Josh Bell. He's 3 for 11. That's .273 with no home runs. Adam Frazier, 2 for 13 against Gausman. That's a .154 average. For the Braves against Musgrove, not a lot of sample size, but there, if I were to pick one, it would be Freddie Freeman. 6 at-bats, 2 hits, and one of those is a home run. Okay? So Freddie Freeman may be a player that you want to look at against Musgrove today. Plus, you've got that right-handed, left-handed split. Lou Landers says Gausman will be good in August. He laughs. Hey, he may be, but I'm not a big Gausman fan at all. I saw him pitch way too many times for the Orioles. I live fairly close as far as major league cities. That's the closest city to me. And I've seen Gausman pitch for the Orioles many times. I know he's a Brave now. I get it. But the thoughts of sugar plums dance in my head every time I see Gausman. I think of him facing my favorite team, the New York Yankees, and the Yankees just having Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving lunch, all in one buffet against Kevin Gausman. Yeah, that's what it boiled down to. The Yankees ate his lunch every time. And so, can I say it with any straight face, I think Kevin Gausman is a player to play in fantasy. I cannot and will not. Take your chances if that's who you like. I'm just not a big Gausman kind of guy. All right, tonight at 7:07, the Yankees play the Blue Jays. It's Big Maple coming back to the place where he threw his no-hitter against Thornton for the Toronto Blue Jays. Big Maple, no player on Toronto has more than 7 at-bats against him. Justin Smoke, 1 for 7. I guess it was maybe one game, but Randall Grichuk went 2 for 3 off of him. Not an overwhelming endorsement there, just giving you those numbers. The Twins are at Cleveland. Again, I told you the pitchers there. Martin Perez,